Hello and welcome to the Sewing Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make this quilt top using a layer cake. Now I used a layer cake from last year's Christmas range, but this year they've got this one called Sparkle and Shine Glitter, and I really like this one. In fact, I think I prefer this one to the one that I used because this one has got navy as well as black, and it's really sparkly and it's got some gorgeous colours in it. So I think I might end up having to buy one of these as well. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And as I say, we need a layer cake. The quilt behind me measures 51 by 61. So if you wanted it bigger, you could put a border on it, or if you wanted it smaller, you could just take out some of the squares. So first of all, you need a layer cake. So for the purposes of today, I'm using this layer cake, which is by Cori Yoda, and it's called Cozy Up. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take two squares that are contrasting, and you're going to lay them on top of one another. And if you're brave, you can do more than two at a time. But for today, I'm just going to do two at a time. So you lay your two squares together. And then you take your ruler. And you're going to measure 1.5 inches. So you're going to cut off 1.5 inches first of all. Then you're going to cut off 3.5 inches. And then you're going to turn this oblong around, and you're going to do exactly the same. You're going to cut off 1.5. And then you're going to cut off 3.5. And then that leaves you a 5-inch square. So what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle your colours. So you take your different colour square, and then you're going to sew the other colours to it, like this. And you will need to trim these up because obviously you're going to lose a 1/2 inch with these two seams here. So that is your box within another box, and that's what the quilt's called, a box in a box. So I'm just going to sew that together, and then what you could do if you wanted to, you could put the opposite to this one, but what I tend to do is cut a few and then shuffle them up. So there might be something else that I quite like. So for example, I've cut these earlier. So I might decide that I'm going to put the green around this. So I'm not having too many of the same colours. So I might put the green around this one and just mix it up. Or, as I say, you can do it in pairs and do it that way. I've also seen the quilt done in just two colours. I've seen it done in navy and red. So sometimes the boxes are red and the outside's navy, and vice versa. So the choice is yours. But I like the idea of doing it with a layer cake and mixing it all up. So now we're just going to go over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to put these two together. So first of all, I'm going to take the two small pieces and sew them to either side of the 5-inch square. As always, it's a 1/4 inch seam, right sides together. I'm just going to do a bit of chain piecing for speed. I'm going to go over to the iron and press those back, and then I'm going to put the other pieces on. Okay, so I'm just going to nip those bits of thread where I've chain pieced. Let's tidy up those pieces. And we're going to press those, and then we're going to flip them back. And I'm pressing my seams towards the outside pieces. And then back to the sewing machine to put the other 2 strips on. And back to the iron to press those. So I'll just give these a press. And again, we're going to flip it back so the seam goes towards the outside colour. Now you can see that the outside piece needs trimming, and that's because I said earlier where we joined our 2 smaller pieces together, we'd lost ½ an inch. So we're just going to trim those up in a second. So we'll just square these up. Oops, just missed a little bit there. Let's just go back and tidy that up. So now you've got your squares, and the way you lay this out is your 5-inch square goes towards the top left, and then your next one, it goes to the bottom to the right, and then top left, and so on. And then the next one, because we've started on this row with top left, it goes bottom right, and then this one goes top left, and so on until you've laid your quilt out. So you do 6 across and 7 rows down if you're going to use the whole layer cake, but you can make it smaller if you want to. So we're just going to go over and look at the other quilt. It is only a top, I haven't finished it yet, but we're just going to have a look at the whole thing. So here's the quilt top all put together. As I said earlier, it's 6 across by 7 down. I tried when laying it out to make sure if I'd got things that were directional like these birds, I tried where possible to make sure that they were the right way up. And I tried to sort of get a good mix of colour. So that's the top done. You could put a border on it if you wanted to make it bigger, or you could take one of the rows off if you wanted to make it square. So the choice is yours. So as always, make it your own. Have fun. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in the sewing studio.